Councilman with 17 years on the council and 56 years as a public servant is not looking to be reelected. That councilman is Johnny Streets, a Fort Myers native who shaped the same community that he grew up in.
Wait News anchor Annette Montgomery joins us in the studio with the story.
Well, Chris and Lois, Councilman Johnny Streets sat down and talked with me for over an hour today. We talked about everything from the time he first started working in Lee County back in 1968 to the more than 2 decades he spent with the Fort Myers Police Department. He told me the decision to not run for re-election next year was bittersweet.
They know my glory, but they don't know my story.
For City Councilman Johnny Streets, Fort Myers is not just a city where he holds a government title. It's the city he was raised in.
When I graduated from Dunbar High School in 1967, it was still segregated. I had one person tell me, well, certainly we can allow you to, we need a cleanup man, but we're not going to let you work on these white people cars.
Nonetheless, it's easy to say he's done more than clean up cars. He's helped to clean up the entire city of Fort Myers.
Coming on the police department in 1973, just prior to that, officers that looked like me were not allowed to work in the black community.
He's had a passion for curbing gun violence in the city and worked closely with the late police chief, Derek Diggs, to do it.
It's not easy when you got to tell your sister that you as a police officer couldn't save her daughter, which her daughter was expecting another child because of domestic violence. Particularly, Ms. Montgomery, when you working that day and you in charge of a shift and you get a call, and when you get there, it's your family. That's hard to take sometimes.
At the end of his term in November 2024, Streets would have served on Fort Myers City Council for 17 years. A choice he's making after citing toxic politics and things he didn't want to be a part of that were happening behind the scenes.
There's a lot of backroom conversations that sometimes that perhaps maybe not just here in Fort Myers, but we're talking and we really should be talking about things that we may have to vote on. So sometimes we always used to say when a lot of times people come to the meeting, they already know what they're going to do.
Although he told me it's time to leave City Council, Streets will not be leaving the streets of Fort Myers.
It's fair to say you might not be on the City Council, but you'll still be in the city.
Oh, I'll be somewhere around.
And that decision won't come until November 2024, but Councilman Streets told me he already knows of several people interested in taking over Ward 2. You can watch my full interview with Councilman Streets right now on winknews.com.
He's got quite the legacy. Thank you, Annette.